Welcome to the Warframe Weapon Encyclopedia, where today we're checking out the Dragon Nikana. Now, while you can get the blueprint for the Dragon Nikana from the market, you will need the standard Nikana first, as well as one Argon Crystal and a little bit of Oxium. And the blueprint for the standard Nikana comes from the Tenno lab in your dojo, and here you're gonna need a Forma, a little bit of Oxium, 3 Argon Crystals and few alloy plates. The Dragon Nikana is a Master Rank 8, Nikana that does primarily slash damage. There is almost no puncture or impact whatsoever. It's also decently fast with reasonably good crit, standard crit multiplier, pretty good follow through so you don't lose too much damage as you're cleaving through enemies, standard range for this kind of weapon, and pretty good status of 22%. So it's basically just a slightly weaker version of the Nikana Prime. You have a little bit less attack speed, slightly less crit, worse crit multiplier, less damage, and less status. However, the Dragon Nikana has consistently had much higher Riven disposition than the Nikana Prime. So if you get yourself a Dragon Nikana Riven and you roll it a little bit to get some good rolls, it can actually be stronger than the Nikana Prime. It is gonna take a pretty good Riven though. Now the setup here is gonna be pretty much what you would expect from this kind of a melee weapon. We're running a hybrid with Viral and Slash, and I personally like to go with the Weeping Wounds here to bump the status up a little bit higher. Also, if you're running the Naramon Focus School, so your combo doesn't decay all at once, you can take out Drifting Contact and either put in more damage or some utility, something like Healing Return and that kind of stuff. Now for a weapon that's as old as the Dragon Nikana, the performance here is actually really good, especially once you crank it up all the way and you ramp up Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds. You're gonna be hitting orange crits for the most part with an occasional yellow crit here and there, and you have a ton of status from the dual stat mods, Drifting Contact and Weeping Wounds, so you're gonna be leaving behind a ton of slash and viral proc. So basically it has a really good combination of upfront damage thanks to all the crit, but also really good dot damage from the status. It's just a really solid weapon. Back in the day, the Dragon Nikana was my favorite weapon in the game. I would use it all the time, I would barely use anything else, and it's still really good to this day. No, it's not as good as some of the crazy newer weapons that have ludicrous crit or ludicrous damage, but it's still strong enough to comfortably do Steel Path. And if you manage to get a Riven for it and roll it so that it has some decent stats, you can actually end up with a very powerful melee weapon indeed. Because as I've mentioned already, the Dragon Nikana has consistently had good Riven disposition, especially when compared to the Nikana Prime. You can even go for a heavy attack build here if you want to, which is going to do an absolute ton of damage with each hit, and the Nikanas are also one of those weapons that have a forced slash proc on both stages of the heavy attack. Supercharging that with a strong Riven would actually be even nuttier than running a juiced up light attack build. So while the Dragon Nikana is not quite as good as the Nikana Prime, it is still really good, and with the right investment can actually become the best Nikana we have in the game right now. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.